Hello and welcome back to yet another episode in Puff's GoTWiC Guides for Dummies. I know it's been quite a long time since I came to you with a recording, and I do apologize for that. It just has not been great when it comes to trying to get the time to record. Unfortunately, we had just recently the All Out War, the new season of All Out War just finished. Our faction Tempest finished second, which was WXC and HD, and then Long Reach being BDR, and then Frost being NBE. That then came with a whole bevy of extra nice rewards, along with this new shop, the Twin Dragon store, and these fancy coins, the Double Dragon coin. Very nice, just for some added maybe castle shards, or you could get, this is Jean's weapon here, or Ironborn's will. But saying that, that is not the reason I come to you today, even though I will mention this event during our talks. But this video is going to focus on a brand new commander that just came out during the All Out War event, and that is JaqenH'ghar.
Vala Morgulis.
This faceless man is absolutely phenomenal in strategy events such as AOW and SOW. In the early release of him, there was a bit of a mix-up, I guess. He was just a little bit too overpowered, I guess you could say. So the devs decided to nerf him to high heaven. But even then, he is still insanely strong in the strategy events. Just to give you a little peek of that, this is his strategic stats, 240% across the board for infantry. But it's really this skill here, the normal attack and counter damage received by the lead troops are reduced by 60%, lasting for 5 seconds. And all that really is basically a direct counter to other infantry type troops as they run off of normal attack and counter damage as well. As you may know, infantry have a really high counter damage to them. They are like bow kryptonite. But really where it gets interesting is down here when the commander is on an expedition with the team. The normal attack and counter damage caused by the lead troops during normal attacks are increased by 25%, lasting for 5 seconds. The effect can stack 5 times. So originally this was 50%, which was absolutely ludicrous. You would see whales running around the map with Jaqen just absolutely melting their full counters, like full infantry sets, just melting full whale cavalry lineups. It was absolute mayhem for a little bit. I saw a couple different instances where people ran him in a spear lineup and just absolutely wrecked face. Imperial Rock, known for this event as the Huge, he absolutely destroyed people with Jaqen. Not just him, but Light Yagami as well. As you can see, they had almost double and even triple the eliminations of even 4th place. Tolkien did a phenomenal job as well. I do believe he rocks, yes, JaqenH'ghar. So there was that. It was a great thing to watch. It was really crazy. The amount of death was astounding. But moving on back into him, we're going to look at his army stats real quick. He gives great army stats. This is going to be just for regular attacking. 80% for the defense and health, and then a 40% total attack. So that's pretty good stats overall. His guard stats, you can kind of take a peek and read these for yourself. Now down to the nitty gritty of JaqenH'ghar, and that's going to be his awakening. Now he is really the F5 Sonara. He replaces Sonara for your combo bleed lineup. When our melee troops perform a normal attack, there's a 30%, 40%, and 30% chance to trigger 1, 2, and 3 additional attacks respectively. So just based off of that, he is already leaps and bounds ahead of Sinara in that instance, because he gives you a chance to attack 3 additional times at a maximum, instead of just 1 additional time at increasingly lowering percentages. If we go down to Sinara real quick, we'll go ahead and take another peek at hers. Hers, you get that additional chance of 70% with her 4-star weapon, which is good, yes, but it's 1 additional attack. It's not, there's no chance of getting that 2nd or 3rd within that same instance. So JaqenH'ghar greatly outshining her just right off rip. Popping back into his awakening, it gets even better. For every 15 normal attacks accumulated by our front row formation, immediately defeat 8% of the target's troops. The number does not exceed 8% of Jaqen's current troops. So what that is like a combination of Sinara and Annie. If you've seen any of my previous video on the female synergy, I glossed over Annie in that, and she directly annihilates a percentage of troops, not to exceed a percentage of her own troops. So an excellent bit of extra damage there on top of those additional attacks. So he is, I cannot stress, a great addition to your combo bleed lineup. Currently he is stupid expensive. The only way to have gotten him was to have used the wheel. He had a introduction wheel, just like almost all of the F5 commanders that come out. You basically would just dump a bunch of money into the game at one time, roughly 35 to 4,000 I believe, to max him out, depending on your luck. If you're really lucky, then maybe it was cheaper for you. But yeah, at a 4-star, that is an insane amount of extra damage compared to a Sinara. Currently, he does not have his own weapon. That is rather unfortunate, but best believe his weapon will be following very shortly. Stay on the lookout for that. I do believe it will most likely pop up in the Ruins Treasure event, which is not going on right now, but I have mentioned it in previous videos. Now, what does the perfect lineup look like? This is pretty dang close to it, to be completely honest. If you are an infantry player, this is roughly the best you could possibly run. Sure, there are others like Sandor or Rhea, but this is just cream of the crop, the best you can get. And that's what we would talk about when we mention Jaqen. As if you have Jaqen 4-star, you most likely have Vorian and the rest of these maxed out and good to go. Now, if you're wondering about this lineup underneath the commanders, these are the advisors. These are the recommended advisors for this lineup in particular. It's kind of going to be the same all the way across the board, as these are all combo bleed. But once again, I have another video out about advisors, along with a kind of a tour of a spreadsheet. Now, on a side note, the ideal setup for the real-time strategy events is going to be something similar to this here, depending on which one you're doing. The addition of Amadon is going to be really nice if you happen to have him, as he does really nice AoE splash damage. But this is going to be a real tanky setup here. You could also swap out or swap in a John if you do not have a Darren or a Vorian per se. But yeah, ideal setup. I saw tons of these running around AOW. So yeah, there is that real-time strategy ideal set. Now, really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and pop into a report. This is going to be against just a regular old stronghold, so nothing special here. But scrolling down, we're going to go to the very first second at which Jaqen pops off. And it looks like that is right after this allied A2 lineup. Goes ahead and gives them an extra attack within 1 second. Scrolling down a little bit more, we'll see him yet again at this A5 lineup, yet again at A4, and then all of those lineups do attack again within that 1 second. So as you can see, he's already better than Sonara in that sense, as he allowed 3 of the lineups within your lineup to attack a second time. But if you scroll down to the next second, second 6, it happens yet again for allied A3. After this, all of these crits that are popping off, those are for Vorian, from Vorian. Absolutely insane that commander is for army skills. But we're not here to talk about him, even though he is probably the best thing to ever happen to infantry since sliced bread. But yeah, Jaqen popping off again, an extra attack within 1 second. So as you can see, that kind of starts to spitball just a little bit and get really out of hand really quickly. And at 6 seconds, I mean, that is insanely fast. The cumulative attacks have stacked up to 15, and he is already popping off with his second half of the Warsoul Awakening, where he just absolutely annihilates a certain portion of troops. In this instance, it was so early on, it was 19,463 troops. So that is just insane numbers within the first 6 seconds. So it's almost like infantry was blessed with their own version of the female lineup in that sense. So yay for infantry. They are now probably the most OP troop type, at least currently in the game, until they release the Layla replacement for cavalry. We'll see what we get with her. But yeah, I think that is pretty much going to do it for this video, guys. As always, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, please leave a like, maybe a comment, hit that subscribe button, and maybe smash the bell so you know when our next video comes out. But yeah, until next time, guys.